everyone. Hi. My goal is to create a space that's really welcoming and inviting for all bodies and abilities, no matter how you show up. If you look at the screen, that's actually my yoga space. It is open and happening. Real quick, just a little bit about me. This is actually a second business for me. I am a full-time psychotherapist with a private practice in Yarmouth Court, which is where my studio also is. And I work with kids, teens, and adults, and I see people are struggling. So that motivated me to create this space. So my journey that got me here started 20 years ago. Went to my first yoga class. I was so excited. Like, I've struggled with my mental health. I wanted to get in touch with my body. I thought this was gonna be great. The teacher offered a traditional child's pose, which is great. My body couldn't and can't access that. And at the time, there were no variations offered. So I left that class feeling like a failure. I don't have a yoga body. I can't do yoga. I'm just defeated. It took me a really long time to find people and spaces that felt safe and inviting and inclusive for me. I found some of those spaces and I started doing a lot of yoga. 2019, some friends and I were doing a retreat and they said, hey, you do a lot of yoga, do you think you could teach us some yoga? I mean, you're not a teacher, but you could teach us. Okay? And that's kind of where the seed got planted. At that time, I was also working for Mindful Yoga. Hey, Tanya, hello. And my beautiful friend Tanya said, why don't you get your yoga certification? You can do this. I know you can do this. Okay. Then last year she said, you're doing your yoga certification. Why don't you start teaching goat yoga? If you're going to start teaching, start with goat yoga because everyone's distracted. I loved it. May of 2025, I graduated my 200 hour. Yay, very exciting. And in the process, I realized, I think I want to do more than just teach. I want to create a space that I've always wanted. And that's here, Mindful Breath Yoga, my studio in Yarmouth Court. So I had to figure out first, though, if what I wanted was what other people wanted. So I did a survey. We know about surveys. So I found out about my customers. My customers are local, makes sense. Primarily women between the ages of 36 and 60. And a real demand for yoga for kids, for yoga programming for kids around ages of 8 to 13. So this was really helpful information to have. I also wanted to find out, what are you looking for in a class? People really wanted a small yoga class. Some instructor that's really welcoming and kind. And an atmosphere that's really calm. My most important feedback came about inclusivity. People wanted a place where you can show up and not be judged. And that means not being judged by others, but also not judging ourselves. We're gonna show up exactly as we are. A space that feels really safe and welcoming. And this is what was huge for me. Bulk of people who responded to my survey says, we want a space that is welcoming for all bodies and abilities and offers variations for everyone. So what does that mean? That means if I'm teaching a yoga pose, I'm not just gonna say, we're gonna go down into child's pose. I'm gonna teach you, here are variations. Here's one way to do it. Here's, if you wanna go deeper, you can try this. You can try that. I'm gonna offer props. I have blocks, I have bolsters, I have straps, I have a wall. If you have struggle with balance, I have a wall you can use. So really making this so that anyone can show up as you are with whatever your ability is to access this space and access your experience. I had some goals. We have to have goals. My first goal was to have an email newsletter with at least 50 people on it. As of this writing, I have 57. My other goal was to really increase my social media presence. I set a goal of having about 50 people on Instagram and Facebook. I currently have over 100 followers on Instagram, over 140 on Facebook. I really wanted to hold at least one class in my yoga studio. To this date, I've held 4. I did 2 kids classes over April vacation week, and I've done 2 adult classes so far. And my last goal and my stretch goal was to have an active website with booking capability, and it is officially active as of 2 p.m. today.
Whoa, yay!
Just an example of what my class schedule will look like. Again, this is a small business for me. This is a side business. My goal is around 3 to 4 classes a week. My space is small. I can fit a max of 6 people, so I'd love around 5 people per class if I could. I do all gentle and restorative yoga, which is really yoga, again, that's accessible to anyone. And I really created my rates, which are very comparable to other yoga studios. $25 drop-in, and then an option for a 5-class or a 10-class pass if people wanted to sign up and save a little bit of money. So, as Jen mentioned, we have to come up with a 18 months projection. Where do we want to be? most of my costs were startup. It was getting all of my equipment, getting my website, getting everything set up. So really, my costs, I anticipate being fairly stable for my business. There's gonna be some fluctuation certainly in revenue if it's, April vacation week, I'm gonna be doing more kids programming. If it's September, I'm not, because they're not gonna be coming, they're gonna be going back to school. I also came up, but I also I'm gonna be getting some revenue even after paying myself, so that's really projecting to be good. I set up a few goals for myself, more goals for my 6-month goal, really marketing myself, getting my name out there, letting people know who I am, and really clarifying and coming up with a schedule that works for me, because I do work full time, but also works for my clients and that get them into the studio. 12 months, I really want to hash out what does kids yoga programming look like? What is the need? What can I offer? How can I make it happen, but not a day when my landlord's downstairs and they're jumping and he has to talk to me? That happened. And also having a really good customer base. I have 10 returning clients who are consistently returning. 18-month, I'm very passionate about collaborating with a local nonprofit, particularly a nonprofit that works in the mental health field. And I really want to look at what would enriching summer programming be, both with yoga and doing some art programming. 3 to 5 years. I would love to have someone else come and join me, another teacher in my studio. Someone who's aligned with my values, who's aligned with what my practice is all about. As a business owner, if I take time off, I don't get paid. So I would love to have revenue from this business that will cover my time off. If I make $10,000 a year that I can take time off and maybe do a vacation, I would be incredibly happy. And I really want to have 2 consistent, regular partnerships with 2 local nonprofits in our local community to give back. My organization's pretty easy, it's me. I do have the active website, which is great. I also have my yoga space. So with my psychotherapy practice, I actually leased an office suite with a colleague. So I had an extra space that I turned into my yoga space. I turned an office into a yoga space. So that is really helpful, again, cost-wise, that I'm not paying an arm and a leg for it, I already have it. I also have a couple partnerships happening. There's a yoga owner studio collective that has reached out to me, so I'm gonna be meeting with them. I think my first meeting is in September. And there's another local small business called Self-Care Collective, who is rallying other local businesses on Cape who are focusing on self-care and working together and promoting. So I have those 2 partnerships established. My social impact. So this is really, really important to me, both in my role as a yoga teacher and a psychotherapist. We're living in a pretty chaotic world, and I want to create a space where we can invite some calm into that. So I want to really focus on being in the space and working on anxiety, working on stress management, but also carrying tools from those experiences out of the yoga studio. How can we take these tools out to what we're doing? And I want to really give people an introduction to, can we slow down and restore and calm instead of constantly being pushy and productive? I also am very excited. I do have a partnership that's starting up with Foundations. They're a dual diagnosis program based out of Mashpee, working with people with mental health and or substance use. And I'm hopefully going to be doing either a weekly or twice monthly yoga class with them, hopefully starting this summer. And I volunteered at Animal Sanctuary in Connecticut, and they reached out to me if I would do some volunteer classes for them to fundraise for the animals. If you say animals, I say yes. So I'm going to be doing a couple of those every year, which I'm very excited about. And my ask. So, sound bowl healing. Sound bowl healing is using metal or crystal bowls to create music and vibration to really create a beautiful, calm, soothing atmosphere. So my ask is for $1,800. I think this would really benefit me in my yoga studio, just to enhance that sense of calm and relaxation. The $1,800 would cover my sound bowl certification and a quality set of sound bowls. And so I just want to say thank you to Ephraim and for my mentors who are here, and for my yoga mentors right there and there.
Yay.
And there are my socials and my website. So thank you.
It wasn't so bad, right?
It wasn't. It goes by much